Okay, so these are simple principles. So how then can you say that you don't know anything?
Well, let me put it this way: the idea that I don't know anything in a true sense, not in a defensive posture, or to be used, to protect myself, or an offensive posture to be used as if I do know something.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that I don't know anything is actually the way you open your mind to be able to learn from a higher source.
Oh, because whatever we know, there's something new could come.
There's more.
And all of a sudden,
if you every time you base what you know, every time you base what you are on what you know,
yes,
and you live in that definition,
and you don't open to.
You've defined.
You never know what we can
right.
discover.
Well, just hear the word. Just hear the word. You've defined yourself.
And I'd rather not. And that doesn't sound good, right?
No, you don't want to be defined.
I'd rather be refined.
Inspired. You're right.
Refined. Yes. Yes. The audience is resonating again. I can feel it. Yes.
Refined.
So then
essential. So if you think about refining, the more you refine something, the more you reduce it to its essence. The essence is the most valuable thing it could possibly be, because it's the purest idea that you could possibly have.
So forgive this classical question.
Okay.
But so with all this harmony, we've also got tsunamis and
yes. Okay, that's a good. You know what? That's
ocean.
A really good.
Yes.
That's a really good question, and actually, it's one that I was given the answer to.
Whoa! This is not modest. It's not maybe the answer, or probably. This is yes.
This is
we don't get this in Cambridge very often.
Actually, I'm going to say something. And I know this. And I'm not saying it from from a sort of I don't know. It's very humility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So you have to understand that one of the principles, one of the most important principles is that's going to be demonstrated in a book that we're soon to do called The Most Important Question, which is based on a true story that of Albert Einstein, which is being put out in a book by Constance Hill. What it is this: as you think, so you experience.
As you think,
right?
Yes.
The way you think is what manufactures your experience.
If I love you and think you're beautiful, then all of a sudden, wow.
Right. Okay. So now just think of it this way. So just think of what we think is the world around us.
Yes.
Is an outpicturing of the consciousness that we all make up. That's projecting the world. The world is thought. Everything's thought. Everything's energy. Science has proven that. Okay?
Yes.
So just think of the world as being thought. The world is an outpicturing of the collective thought of all the beings that are making it. Okay? Now, if we're going to change the world, that means our thinking has to change.
Yes.
As our thinking changes, the outpicturing has to change.
And feelings too, because you're very deeply feeling person.
Exactly. So now the world is literally just an outpicturing of what's happening within all of us. So as our consciousness and our feelings about each other and ourselves change, things have to change in the world. Now, unfortunately, we tend to think of them as upheavals or something's gone wrong, when in fact it's just the responsiveness of the thought, that it's thought being thunk. As we think these thoughts that are making the world, the thoughts that are reflected back to us that are the world have to change.
So do you think that the tsunami, which is an earthquake, is a fault?
Well, just think of it this way. At the deepest core of you, okay, and most people do, is where they hide their rage.
Yes.
Okay. So
I won't give you an example, but it's an opportunity to war. Yes.
Now, in order to heal the rage, you must let it come up.
Yes.
Okay. So all a tsunami or an earthquake is, or a volcano, is the collective rage that we've outpictured and hid in the center of our planet.
You think we've created the earthquake?
I'm not. I don't think. I know for sure.
Why? Because this is unique. Because most of us think it's the Earth.
Well, it is. It's the Earth as an outpicturing of our home.
But you don't think there were earthquakes before there were people here?
Well, that's like the chicken and the egg.
No,
that's the chicken and the egg.
And the nuclear energy radiating into the ocean.
Well, I mean, and here's why. Because the truth is, when you operate in a condition of not being conscious of how you're using your mind, there's unpredictable effects that occur, because you're unconsciously pursuing something that may not be for the higher good. So therefore, everything about it may not be positive.
So what about the people? I think 10,000 people at least were killed, and more. And or the good people going into the plant, risking their lives, and they step in.
Well, then we have to get into a whole discussion of karma and why people come here.
Oh, so you think in some ways they.
Everybody chooses. Nothing happens but by people's choice at some level. So people come in with a prior choice of how they're gonna, what lessons they're gonna learn.
So that's not blaming the victim, like the people in the concentration camps?
Because I don't well, here's the thing, because I don't necessarily consider what occurs to people as ultimate and final, because I don't believe that death ends life. I think life is eternal.
That I love, but
So they come together in ways to learn lessons about themselves that they can't learn in another way, and everybody agrees ahead of time. But when you enter into the consciousness of what we call space and time,
yes,
it's the forgetting of what was prior to it.
Now, all that I agree. There's a sadness in me, though.
Yes,
thinking of, and it's far away. It's easy for me to do it far away, to be sad. Harder to be sad with the people close to me, but.
Well, the sadness is in the.
10,000 people got killed.
Yeah. Because you know why it's sad.
Yes.
It's sad when people waste the pain and not learn the lesson.
No, but those people were just kind of doing their own little BeLive television show in Japan, and all of a sudden, bam.
Well, but I mean, from my perspective and everything that I've learned thus far, I mean, they participated in the making of the world and the choices that led them to get there. Now, you don't know what that means to them, so you're looking at them as if it's you that it's happening to.
Yes.
But it's not you, in a sense. It's the nature of their relationship with their own karma and the beings that they're with that is having this happen. So, like just in other religions, like the Eastern tradition,
yes,
people find it acceptable to emulate themselves because it's supposed to be a high form of purification. So they actually go into it in ecstasy rather than in suffering. Now, you can't understand that, and I can't understand that, but the mind actually has the ability to control the experience that someone's having. Someone could be ecstatically burning when you would think they'd be suffering.
Yes.
And you can't take that away from them, because that would be to deny you the power of your mind.
In my better moments, I try to live your way. In my less better moments, I get angry if I hurt my hip.
Yes, you get angry because you hurt your hip because it doesn't make any sense. You don't know why you want to hurt yourself.
I hurt my hip because I climbed into the bathroom window when I locked myself out. Right. I did it myself. And so it's hard. Yes. I try.
But just look at it
this way. You do that? Are you able to do that?
Yes. No. That was when the universe actually opened up and revealed itself to me with that and that in the Course in Miracles, what the line is this. The key to salvation is you but do this to yourself. Now, when Jesus said that to me, coming from the resonant frequency he was operating at, when he said that to me, he meant the whole thing. But what I heard was, if I did this to myself, that I could learn how to make a choice to undo everything I've done and live an entirely different way.
And you are doing that.
Yes. And that's another principle, a universal principle.
That we're doing it to ourselves.
Yes, when you learn to live consciously and you consciously begin to make choices based on another understanding that's available to you, the choices that you make are no longer based on duality, good or bad. They're based on a singularity of life being whole and perfect and eternal and only love existing. Because everything here is an act of love. Ultimately, everything's miraculous because it all stems from love.
No hate.
Well, hate is a misunderstanding of something that occurred because you didn't have enough information, and you also had protective devices that were trying to save face. There's a lot of little things that play into it, and it's all explainable. But
Well, we have only 2.5 minutes, and I'm going to let, if you'd like, I'm going to let either the audience or you say goodbye. Is there any questions from? Wow, it's a huge audience. Any questions? Anybody? About this way of living, it's leaving out the truth of it or not, the ability to live this way with all the difficult things that happen.
I'm going to say
any of us. Yes.
I'm going to say this. Okay, people don't know they're not hearing my history, so they don't really know.
Yes.
So I mean, what they'd have to see is what they'd have to understand is for 25 years, living this way has proved to me to be the only way to live, because the way I lived prior to that caused me to to get to a point where I was profoundly addicted to drugs and, you know, not really wanting to go on any longer.
And then when he started thinking this way...
What I had to learn, I had to unlearn first I had to see the way I was thinking that caused me to do
And why don't you tell us in the last, we still have 2.5 minutes, this amazing new way of understanding problems. Yes.
Okay, you have to unlearn the old way.
Well, tell us what happened when you were 19.
Okay, when I was 19, I was asked by Jesus, "Are you ready yet to help me save the world?" And I said no.
And you were where at this time?
I was in college on Fairfield Road, walking to the beach.
Which college is this?
Fairfield University.
Yes, which is in
Connecticut.
And you said no.
And he said to me, I said, you were perfect, and look what they did to you. I'm not. I can imagine what they're going to do for me. And the communication shut off. When I was 33 years old, I was in the woods, and I was really looking for why I was suffering so much. Because remember, I'm on like the world's most strongest painkiller, and I'm still in pain. The angst of existence.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't solve the problem. And I reasoned it down to the idea that I was separate from everything, and there was no contact. I was alone. I was separate. I was isolated.
In the woods with 2 dogs.
With everything. It didn't matter who I was with. I was isolated. But I had this thought. I said, if God is everything, how can you be separate from everything? The next thing I know is the voice came back and said to me, "Are you ready yet to save the world?" And I remembered back to the point when he first asked me, and I said no. And what was revealed to me was that all the guilt, fear, shame of saying no was the fuel for my addiction. So I saw that if I continued to fail to listen to guidance, the result was shame, guilt, and fear. So I was going to trust this guidance and say yes and see what was happening, because it had to be better than what had happened.
It was way better. He married Vicky Poppe and his friends with constant hail. These, by the fruits you will know them.
Right, so what happened
Could all of us get someone as two wonderful people in our lives as Vicky and Connie?
Well, you got 3 of us now. Come on.
Wow, I have. No, what about our audience? Can we? We have to. What do we say? Yeah. Are you ready to be guided? Right.
This is a miracle.
Yes.
Miracle.
Yes.
Did you predict this was going to happen a year ago?
No.
Is this coming from love?
No.
No? Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
It's
yes.
a miracle.
I got carried away. Forgive me. Forgive that no. I was really a yes that I didn't know.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we have 10 seconds to ask them one more question to say goodbye. Are we ready
to take the next step?
To take the next step?
In human consciousness.
In human consciousness.
Right.
Whoa! Okay, so we didn't record this because I didn't. No, but it doesn't matter. It's recorded by the station. They know me, so they record this.
That was.
Well.
That was
somehow this is not.
mine.
Oh, we have to get out of here immediately,
Okay.
and I don't know how to get this out, but maybe something got stuck. But we'll let that. It's just not coming out.
Should we take this chair out again? This extra?
Oh, yeah, take that one. That one's in here.
Why, nothing is working. Okay. Well.
Did you have a DVD to finalize?
No, it didn't work. It somehow got stuck.
Really?
And it never,
Oh, okay. All
never
right.
came, won't come out.
It looks like it's recording right now.
You know, now?